Coming up next, live coverage of the Irondequoit Town Board on ICAT 12, Irondequoit's government access channel.
Good evening. The time is 7 p.m. I now call to order the regular town board meeting in the town of Irondequoit of January 17th, 2017. Visitors are invited to join the board members to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilwoman Barnum.
Here.
Councilwoman Hush-LaRae.
Here.
Councilman Perticone.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
He's absent.
Supervisor Seeley.
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone. We have some pre-meeting ceremonies that we're glad to do to start our evening off. We also have a few public hearings that are going to begin in about 35 minutes, which we have to attend to promptly as they're published to the public, that we will start them at that time. So with that, I'm going to wait until the end to give my monthly supervisor's remarks. So for those of you who tune in or come here just to hear my supervisor's remarks, I apologize. You'll have to wait a little bit. But with that, I'm going to invite the board members to join me down at the podium for the Good Neighbor Award first. Certainly, during my 9 months now, 9 months of the day in office, one of the joys of our monthly board meetings is the awarding of the Good Neighbor Award, which really is a small token of appreciation from the town board and the town, but that recognizes at times the subtle things that people do, the everyday things that sometimes go overlooked, but really are extraordinary acts of selflessness and devotion to community. And this month's Good Neighbor Award really is something that truly embodies that. I think it was the week after New Year's. I think on social media you started seeing stories of this folk hero who was going around town and taking Christmas trees off of the right-of-way that people had left, and not just taking them for any reason, but taking them to the Helmer Nature Center where they could be chipped and put on the trails and be recycled. It was a very, very selfless act, really, I think. And it was heartwarming to see Mr. Dill, Paul Dill, who is this month's recipient of that award, go around town, and really his only rationale was it was the right thing to do. And I think he was quoted by saying, "Community service has always been important to me. So I'd like to be giving back or helping out in some way." That was a quote in a very nice article in the Democrat and Chronicle, and he really put it very succinctly but very well. And sometimes giving back to the community is the simple right thing to do. To date, Paul tells me he's up to about 180 trees that he's brought to the Helmer Nature Center, and I believe last weekend they chipped them, and they're used for the trails at the Nature Center, which are enjoyed largely by the children of town. And for me as supervisor, it's really such it makes me proud to be able to recognize people like this who are doing the right thing simply because it's the right thing to do. So with that, I'd like to bring up Paul Dill and honor him this month with the Irondequoit Good Neighbor Award.
I wasn't really planning on saying anything. I truly appreciate this. This started out as just someone asked help getting a tree down. And I decided that, well, if I'm going to help one person, I can help a few more. And that turned into just picking up trees on the side of the road. And I never really wanted attention for it. So I don't know who called Sarah Taddeo, but I had a great chat with her. She was great. And Tina, the photographer. And I truly appreciate this. I look forward to doing more random acts of kindness in the community. I love Irondequoit. I've always looked for kind of a community feeling in places I've lived, and this is the only place I've actually found it. People drive, I'm driving down roads and people step out on their sidewalks and wave to me and say, "Hey, Paul, how you doing?" And that just blows me away. I love being a part of this town. And the funny thing is, I think it was my second or third day, I realized there is a specific tree, and I don't know which one, I am really allergic to. I ended up having to take a sick day that night. But I was back out the next day. As a joke with a few people, I've started calling Irondequoit Bedford Falls. It's one of my favorite movies. And, George is one of my heroes. And I just keep saying, Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls.
I will now invite Chief Tantillo up. Every year, it's our honor to recognize the contributions and extraordinary achievements of the men and women of our police department. And I know Chief Tantillo takes great pride in recognizing his officers. And I'll leave Chief to provide some greater context, but I think the past month has really demonstrated what a terrific police department we have. And we're here to recognize some individual contributions and recognitions within the department, but I've had the pleasure of witnessing as a whole how that unit functions and, called upon to do some tasks that you wouldn't expect normally out of a suburban department, but they've handled it with professionalism and really made myself and my colleagues on the board proud, but I think the community as a whole proud to have such a terrific police department protecting the community. So I will invite Chief Tantillo, the temporary master of ceremonies.
You can stay up here with us, right? Okay. You know what? We have a terrific police department because we have a terrific community and we have a very supportive town board. And as someone said to me the other day, "Are you an elected official?" I said, "No, I'm civil service, so I can kind of say what I want." But they are a great group of people to work with, and we really appreciate that. We're going to start off building upon what Paul talked about with community, helping community, and with some citizen awards. If I can have Glenda Dove Polito come forward, please. And Mr. Polito? Sure. Come on. We recognize this is a team effort. Glenda Polito was driving her vehicle on Oakview Drive when a dog that was in a car in front of hers suddenly jumped out of a window and onto the roadway. The vehicle the dog was in continued to drive away from the area. Glenda immediately stopped her car and checked on the welfare of the dog. Since the dog was not injured and she was in close proximity to the Irondequoit Police Department, she brought the dog to the police department and met with our animal control unit. Our personnel, both the animal control officer and police officers, assisted with the situation as she came to rescue this dog that was in need of assistance. While this was occurring, the individual who, if you will, had lost his dog was calling the police department to report that his dog was missing. So that's excellent police work, by the way. With the description provided by the owner, it was soon realized that the missing dog was in the safe hands of Mrs. Polito. The owner was contacted and informed of his dog being located and in the good hands of the animal control officer and Mrs. Polito. It was determined through investigation, very intensive investigation, that the dog had pushed the power window button, which ultimately allowed him to escape from the car. Fortunately, he wasn't hurt at all, but could very well be a stunt animal for Hollywood. But due to the quick and decisive actions of Glenda Polito, the dog was returned and unharmed to a very grateful owner. It is our privilege and honor to present you with the Irondequoit Police Department Making a Difference Award. Congratulations. And next, if I could have Mr. Mark Patrick come forward, please. We're going to stay with our dog theme for a bit. I would never say that the town board meeting has gone to the dogs, right? So as a result of the extreme heat that we experienced in 2016 and the increased number of Irondequoit Police Department calls for service associated with distressed animals in a motor vehicle, Mr. Patrick of Tuxedo Canine Training and Kennel Services contacted the Irondequoit Police Department. By the way, the boarding site is more like a five-star hotel for dogs. Mr. Patrick wanted to assist our agency in the resources that we had available to us when responding to a situation involving an unattended animal contained within a motor vehicle on a day when temperatures are extremely hot. Such conditions can result in serious health consequences for animals. Mr. Patrick donated 2 infrared thermometers to the Irondequoit Police Department that can determine the interior temperature of a motor vehicle. I never knew such a device existed. The results of such a temperature reading is helpful in assessing the appropriate action that should be taken to ensure the safety of the animal. This generous and thoughtful gesture on the part of Mr. Mark Patrick demonstrates his commitment to animals, and in particular to dogs named Sonny, as well as his commitment to Irondequoit as he operates his business on Eastridge Road with compassion and concern. Certainly our privilege and honor to present Mr. Mark Patrick with the Irondequoit Police Department Making a Difference Award. Congratulations. And next, we're going to get into some crime fighting action. If I can have Connie Montana come forward, please. If I'm not mistaken, this action actually took place shortly after you visited the Irondequoit Police Department, right? Yes. So we trained you well. That's it. All right. On November 2nd, 2016, at around 1 p.m., the Irondequoit Police Department responded to a Brookview Drive address for a report of a male who had parked his bicycle in front of a house and began to walk around the residence. Ms. Montana, who resides in the neighborhood, was inside her garage when she observed the male. He walked up to the house and he began to knock on the door. Ms. Montana did not recognize the individual from the neighborhood and continued to watch him as she knows her neighbors and she knows them well. His actions seemed a bit suspicious. At one point, this individual sat on the front porch as Connie took a picture of him on her cell phone. If only Columbo had a cell phone. Connie then called 911. Let me repeat that again. Connie called 911 when she observed this individual walk again towards the back of the Brookview Drive residence. The officers arrived and were able to detain the subject and determined that he had entered the home illegally. If it were not for Connie Montana's immediate actions and awareness, the subject in this situation may have very easily gotten away with this burglary. She remembered the flyer that was distributed by the Irondequoit Police Department that said, and I think the author of that flyer is in our audience tonight, if it doesn't look right, call 911. Am I right, Sergeant Reed? Yeah. Connie was hesitant to call 911, but she was glad she did, and we are glad that she did. It's our privilege and honor to present Connie with the Irondequoit Police Department Making a Difference Award. Thanks very much. If I could have Mr. James Shotwell come forward, please. I notice you're drinking coffee, but where's the donut? Right? Come on. Mr. James Shotwell is a familiar face. He's retired from the Irondequoit Police Department after 27 years? 25 and a half. But who's counting? Right. And the interesting thing about it is when I went to nights as a platoon lieutenant, Jim and I worked together. Then he went to afternoons. And then I went to afternoons. And then Jim went to days. And then I went to days. And finally Jim had enough and retired. But we were fortunate enough to where Jim was able to come back to us as a civilian employee and serve in a very important administrative capacity for our agency. Every 5 years, law enforcement agencies in the state of New York have to go through an accreditation process. It's a very intensive process. It's very time-consuming, very demanding, but the rewards are great because it really sets us apart from other law enforcement agencies in the state and really across the country. This year, Jim served as our program manager for the accreditation process, and I had the pleasure of traveling with him to Albany when we were awarded our certification again for another 5 years. While we were there, Jim was presented with an award, and certainly very deserving of that, and I'd like to represent that award to Jim tonight for his family, his community, and his colleagues to see. So this is the John Kimball O'Neill Certificate of Achievement that is awarded to James Shotwell of the Irondequoit Police Department in recognition of your leadership and dedication as the program manager for your agency's law enforcement accreditation program. The New York State Division of Criminal Services acknowledges your significant contribution toward assisting your agency in achieving accreditation, and on behalf of the Irondequoit Police Department, I thank you for doing that. Congratulations. Lieutenant DiGiovanni, why don't you join me up here for this? The departmental award was presented to these individuals several months ago. But then as a result of an award process that we have in conjunction with the Irondequoit Police Nightstick Club, the PBA, which Lieutenant DiGiovanni is a president of, these individuals were awarded Officer of the Year status. The PBA presents them with a very prestigious and nice plaque, and then the agency presents them with their Officer of the Year pins. So tonight I would like to publicly acknowledge them, recognize them, and present them with their Officer of the Year pins. So if I can have Lieutenant Fitzsimmons come forward, please. Officer Morgan, Officer Rosica, Officer Kreiser, and Officer Joseph Kuhn. You guys got to stand over there. Yeah, you got to stand over there. We want to get the full camera view. So like I said before, it's worthy of recognizing them again. These officers responded to a situation in the area of Kings Highway and Titus Avenue for a report of a male walking down the street with what appeared to be a handgun. As the officers located the male, they engaged him in conversation and tried to subsequently get him to comply with their requests and commands for him to drop the weapon, and everyone would be safe. During that particular time, the individual did not comply with those commands, and the officers secured the area as best that they could. They developed a plan in an effort to subdue the male with less than lethal force by utilizing a taser. However, unfortunately, in this situation, that did not take full effect. When this wasn't effective, the individual was subsequently subdued and basically tackled to the ground, and fortunately, no one was injured. As a result of their heroic actions, professionalism, and dedication to service, we are pleased to present them with their Officer of the Year awards and pins. Lieutenant Fitzsimmons, Officer Morgan, which, by the way, that's number 5. Officer, let's go with Kreiser, Rosica, and Officer Joseph Kuhn. Congratulations and job well done. You're good now. You can go sit down. Thank you very much. Making me work up a sweat here. Next, if I can have Investigator Wigton come forward, please. Officer Wigton is going to be presented with the Excellent Police Service Award. This is an individual that has received 3 letters of recognition during the last calendar year. On May 16th, Investigator Wigton was recognized for his role in a drug-related investigation that led to several felony arrests, the seizure of marijuana, controlled substances, 10 long guns, and 3 illegal handguns. In September of 2016, Investigator Wigton was recognized for his role in a robbery investigation and related search warrant execution. This investigation led to the arrest of the suspect for 3 related robberies. And on December 1st of 2016, Investigator Wigton was recognized for his role in a robbery investigation. Despite a suspect being identified and arrested during the initial call, Investigator Wigton continued his investigation and subsequently identified, interviewed, and arrested 3 additional suspects for the robbery and related charges. It's our honor and privilege to present the Excellent Police Service Award to Investigator Andrew Wigton. Congratulations. Sergeant Jessica Franco. Sergeant Franco is also being recognized with an Excellent Police Service Award. This major accomplishment was achieved by Sergeant Franco for her role in the following incidents. In January of last year, Sergeant Franco was recognized for her role in scheduling, supervising, and coordinating a firearms qualification program for retired police officers of the Irondequoit Police Department. It was the first time we ever offered that program, and she did an exceptional job with that. In September of 2016, Sergeant Franco was recognized for her participation in the 2016 Latino Youth Baseball Tournament, law enforcement activity game with youngsters as well as local firefighters. This is an exceptional example of our community engagement efforts. And in September of 2016, Sergeant Franco was recognized for a role in a robbery investigation and related search warrant execution. This investigation led to the arrest of the suspect of 3 related robberies. It's my honor and privilege to present you with the Excellent Police Service Award. Officer Joseph Shevlin. Officer Shevlin also receiving an Excellent Police Service Award. In April of 2016, Officer Shevlin was recognized for his role in a larceny investigation. Officer Shevlin, assisted by Officer Luby, stopped a truck which had just left the construction site in the middle of the night. Officers Luby and Shevlin did converse with the 2 truck occupants. Both occupants made admissions of guilt. Further interview by the officers led to a confession from one of the suspects in the arrest of both individuals for a grand larceny offense. In September of 2016, Officer Shevlin also participated in the 2016 Latino Youth Baseball Tournament, engaged with youngsters and firefighters from throughout the area, as well as the Home Run Derby competition, which he proudly reminds us that he won. But once again, an exceptional opportunity for community engagement as they played this game at Edgerton Park. And on September of 2016, Officer Shevlin was recognized for his role in a robbery investigation and related search warrant execution. This investigation led to the arrest of the suspect for 3 related robberies. As a result of his professional actions and excellent law enforcement performance, he's being recognized with the Excellent Police Service Award. Congratulations. Officer Andrew Whitaker. Officer Whitaker is also being presented with the Excellent Police Service Award. He's demonstrated a great deal of dedication and commitment to our community services effort. Officer Whitaker has developed, implemented, and supervised a variety of community outreach programs that have included Kickball with the Cops, Middle School Police Club Program, Prescription and Household Medication Drop Box Program. Say that 3 times. But it is a very popular program when we take in over 100 pounds of prescription medication each month. Enhancement of the Arundecoyt Police Department's social media Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram accounts, the Arundecoyt Police Department's bi-monthly community letter. The Autism Awareness Program was our initial opportunity to engage with a diverse community, and that was exceptional for us. Shop with a Cop program, Arundecoyt Police Department daily updates for information sharing and making people aware of what's occurring in our community, as well as a whole host of other programs and services, including the exceptional supervision of the 26 school crossing guards that we have in the town of Arundecoyt. But I can't say that without mentioning the exceptional work that Doug Averill does coordinating that as well. But as a result of your dedication and commitment to this community and the people that you serve, it's my privilege and honor to present you with the Excellent Police Service Award. Sergeant Kenneth Gorton. Sergeant Gorton also being recognized for his Excellent Police Service Award. We don't see much of Sergeant Gorton because he works midnights. It's good to see you, Ken. Thank you. All right. In January 2016, Sergeant Gorton was recognized for his role in making repairs to the Arundecoyt Police Department's pistol range, as well as building a long gun storage rack for the pistol range and the firearms vault, ultimately saving the taxpayers' money. In September of 2016, Sergeant Gorton was recognized for his role in a robbery investigation and related search warrant execution, which led to the arrest of the suspect for 3 related robberies. In December of 2016, Sergeant Gorton was recognized for his efforts during the 2016 Deer Management Program, commonly referred to as the bow hunt. Sergeant Gorton not only supervised the bow hunters, but he also tactfully dealt with residents who were impacted by the program. During all of these incidents, Sergeant Gorton conducted himself with the utmost skill, professionalism, and dedication to duty and his community, and certainly is very deserving of this award. So the bow hunt program allows us to manage the herd, and this year we had the opportunity of setting a record, I believe, of culling 102 deer from the herd. As a result of all of his dedication and service, it's my privilege and honor to present the Excellent Police Service Award to Sergeant Kenneth Gorton. Officer Michael McCackey. I've been stood up by an officer. Platoon commendation. Lieutenant Todd Fitzsimmons, please come forward. Sergeant Jessica Franco. Officer Jamie Kuhn. Officer James Frascati. Officer Josh Greenfield, Officer Justin Jagoda, Officer Casey McLaughlin. There you are, Casey. All right. Officer Brian Morgan, Officer Joseph Shevlin, Officer Christopher Soprano, Officer Dominic Pronte. Okay. Platoon commendation is awarded to any officers who perform an exemplary achievement act or service to the Arundecoyt community. Between September 19th and September 24th, members of the 1st Platoon were involved in the recovery of 3 stolen vehicles from Arundecoyt and other jurisdictions and the arrest of multiple suspects. On September 19th, officers Jamie Kuhn, James Frascati, Christopher Soprano, and Justin Jagoda were involved in the recovery of a stolen vehicle containing stolen construction equipment, as well as the apprehension and the arrest of the 2 suspects. Sergeant Jessica Franco coordinated the investigation, and Officer Jason Murphy performed an exceptional amount of tech work. And September 21st, officers Justin Jagoda, Jamie Kuhn, Dominic Pronte, Joshua Greenfield, and Joseph Shevlin apprehended 4 suspects standing on a side street next to a vehicle that was stolen from the town of Brighton. I emphasize that. Sergeant Jessica Franco coordinated the investigation. Officer Jason Murphy performed the detect work. The suspects were interviewed and admitted to stealing more than 20 vehicles throughout the county of Monroe. On September 24th, Lieutenant Todd Fitzsimmons, Officers Casey McLaughlin, and Officer Brian Morgan responded to a call for a vehicle that had just been stolen from Eaton Road. Through a coordinated effort, they did locate the vehicle and arrested the two occupants, obtaining confessions from both suspects. Therefore, it's my privilege and honor to present the Irondequoit Platoon Commendation Award to these officers. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you very much. Another platoon commendation, please, Lieutenant John Izzo. Sergeant Mark Bean. Investigator Andrew Wigton. Officer Thomas Fitzak. Christopher Gruen. Nope, okay. Brad Leap. Casey McLaughlin. You might have heard about this one in the news. In December of 2016, at about 11:05 a.m., employees of the Citizens Bank at 2255 Hudson Avenue called 911 to report that a known male had just removed some handguns from a safe deposit box. The male was observed loading the guns and placing them into a backpack. Irondequoit police personnel responded to the area, and Lieutenant John Izzo located the male outside of a business which he owns on East Ridge Road. Sergeant Mark Bean, officers Bradley Lape, Hector Cartagena, Nick Shemang, and officers from RPD also responded to assist because this was actually on East Ridge Road in the Ridge Seneca Plaza, so it's an RPD or City of Rochester address. Lieutenant Izzo made exceptional observations and observed that a machete and the butt of a handgun was exposed from the backpack near the male. The male was detained, the backpack was secured, both were transported to the Irondequoit Police Department. Lieutenant Izzo and Officer McLaughlin did interview the male, who admitted he intended to harm a City of Rochester judge and a Supreme Court judge, along with assistant district attorneys, because of alleged mistreatment of him in the past. Investigators Anthony DeFonte, Andrew Wigton did complete a search warrant, which led to the recovery of several handguns, a machete, silver, and a large quantity of cash. $138,000? I think so. Officers Thomas Fitzak and Officer Scott Bohr did assist by processing and recovering the evidence. This exemplary investigation and extensive teamwork led to the arrest of an armed and dangerous suspect for 2 felony weapons charges and 1 misdemeanor weapons charge. Therefore, it's my honor and privilege to present them with the platoon commendation. Congratulations. Okay, thank you. I got 45 seconds. So. Sergeant Alan Laird, Investigator Andrew Wigton, Officer Joseph Kuhn, Christopher Gruen, Robert Lewis, Jason Hughes, and Bronte. Okay. Excellent. On August 3rd, 2016, members of the 3rd Platoon responded to a Glen Cove rise for the report of a fight. A male and female were having a domestic altercation outside of an address. A 70-year-old male resident went outside to intervene on behalf of the female when he was suddenly attacked by the male suspect. The suspect threw the male down a flight of concrete steps and then jumped on top of him, furthering the assault. The 70-year-old male, how old was the suspect? 19. Another resident also tried to intervene on behalf of the male victim and was also assaulted by the suspect. Officer Jeffrey Colgrove observed the suspect flee and gave pursuit. Officer Dominic Pronte and Jason Hughes assisted, and the suspect was apprehended. Officers Joseph Kuhn and Robert Lewis did and interviewed the involved parties, while Officer Christopher Gruen performed tech work. Sergeant Alan Laird coordinated the investigation and scene management of this offense as it was unfolding. Investigator Andrew Wigton interviewed the suspect and was able to obtain a confession. This exemplary investigation and extensive teamwork led to the arrest of the suspect for 3 felony charges, 2 misdemeanors, and 1 violation. And I might add, especially in the area of domestic violence, this is so critical for us to be able to follow through with. Therefore, it's my privilege and honor to present the Platoon Commendation Award to Sergeant Alan Laird. Congratulations. Investigator. I think they call that a field promotion. Congratulations, job well done. I'm just going to indulge for 1 minute. First of all, thank everyone for staying. I really appreciate that. These are just an example of the fine work that's done by each and every police officer in our agency. I couldn't be prouder to be part of this community and to work with such exceptional people. You see maybe 20 of them, and there's 32 more that are doing exactly what they're doing each and every day. And one of the things that we talked about today with a couple of community members was you really get the sense of how the community supports you, especially when it was holiday time, and each and every day somebody would bring us something. That's why maybe the waistlines are a little bit bulgier this time of year. But anyway, the community is wonderful, and we greatly appreciate that. You know, the supervisor alluded to a particular situation that we were involved in last week. Actually, last week was probably the busiest week I've had in a 38-year career. But in any event, one of the things, you tap all of the resources available to you, and there's the guy behind the camera that does the work, the guy behind the scenes that does everything. And we have a situation occurring on Friday, the 6th of January, and I think it was the coldest day of the year, right? And we have to work this crime scene, and we decide that we want to use video. And who better to call than Nate Stone to work video? So here is Nate Stone on a bone-chilling day that comes out after he takes care of his family obligations during the day with his wife and his children to come and assist the Irondequoit Police Department to videotape, if you will, a rather large area for us to be able to move forward as we did successfully with arresting 2 individuals. So I think it's only fitting, Nate, come on up, that if you're going to work with us, you might as well dress like us. So we are going to present you with, the next time we call you out on a bone-chilling day, is an official Irondequoit Police Department turtleneck. Nice. Okay? Get your front row seat at the donut shop. And an Irondequoit Police Department knit hat. I joke about it, Nate, but thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hard to contain all this.
Very much. You're good there.
And away they go.
Just one more time, let's give a round of applause to all the civilians and members of our police department for being recognized tonight. It's important that we do that, and I'll note last month we had some inclement weather that our board meeting went on for the month, but our audience was 0, just given the weather, so it's nice to see people back in the Broderick room. And certainly a great way to start a meeting off. We now have 2 public hearings set, one for a proposed local law, the other for a cable franchise application that we've received. I'll now ask Madam Clerk to call the first public hearing.
Public hearing number 1, on the matter of a proposed local law to amend Town Code Chapter 235, Article 3, interpretation of district boundaries.
I'll take a motion to open the hearing.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Ms. Ivers, an explanation, please.
Thank you, Supervisor. The purpose of the amendment to the local law is really to just clarify what might currently be considered some ambiguous language with respect to the interpretation of district boundaries, particularly where it meets the parcel boundaries of existing CSX rail lines or rail corridors, and the rail corridors that were formerly owned by CSX or other rail companies that may now be held privately. The way the code language exists currently, it leaves it's a little bit of a gray area, and we wanted to make the zoning change so it was very crystal clear exactly how the zoning is applied to those parcels. And this is historically how it's been interpreted by past development of former CSX parcels, but we wanted to make sure that we clarified it and left no room for misinterpretation or misapplication. This is the draft language was presented to the town board in draft form at the December meeting when this public hearing was first declared or set.
Thanks, Carrie, and thank you for pointing out this, inaccuracy or glitch in our zoning. And as I say to you often, it underscores the need for us to take a more comprehensive look at our town's zoning, which I'm committed to doing, and you're smiling because I know you'll be happy at that. Do any board members have any questions for Ms. Ivers? Okay, hearing none, I now invite any resident in attendance who wishes to comment on the proposed local law. Okay. Going once, going twice, seeing none, I now will accept a motion to close the hearing.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing is closed. And we will take action, we will consider the local law likely at next month's town board meeting. Our next public hearing, Madam Clerk?
Item number 2, on the matter of an application by Frontier Telephone of Rochester, Inc. for a cable franchise agreement.
A motion to open the hearing?
Move.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Pursuant to the requirements of New York State law, New York State Code 894.5, Frontier Telephone of Rochester has submitted an application to the town clerk for a franchise agreement to offer cable and video service in the town of Arundequoit, and pursuant to state law, the town is required to conduct a hearing within 60 days as it relates to this particular application. So what I'm going to do is now ask Bill Carpenter from Frontier he's going to give a presentation on Frontier's application, which was submitted to the town several weeks ago. I'm going to invite the town board members to join me in the front row, as this is a multimedia presentation, and then we will have questions of either you, and we'll also accept testimony afterwards. So why don't the board members join me down up front again, and I will hand it over to you. What's the best, I might have moved the podium prematurely. Is it better to put it back over there?
I'm addressing you, maybe for the first part?
Yeah, okay.
I'm here to
Fair
address the
enough.
board.
He's a former town supervisor, so he knows how to do meetings on the fly. That's good.
Thank you. First of all, my name is Bill Carpenter. I'm the Director of Operations for Frontier Communications in Rochester, 3441 West Henrietta Road. Supervisor Seeley, members of the Town Council, staff, residents of Arundequoit, I'm very proud to be here on behalf of Frontier tonight. We're very excited about this offering to do a cable franchise agreement in your community. So we think it's a great product. It going to offer competition, choice, and investment in the community. As you pointed out, in order for Frontier to provide this product, we have to get a franchise agreement from every single community in our footprint. So that's 45 towns, villages, and cities. In addition to that, once communities approve the franchise agreement, and then it also must be approved by the PSC Commission. So we're very fortunate right now. Town of Gates was the first to approve and is sitting before the PSC right now, as are a number of communities in New York South, down in the Middletown area of the country. So first of all, I just have a very quick and brief PowerPoint just to show this product that we're very excited about. I'll run through this. I have a few comments and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. So first of all, a little bit about Frontier. Our values are putting the customer first. We are a local-based company still. We have about 1,500 employees here in the Rochester market. We're one of the top 20 employers here. We're very proud of that. We're very engaged in the community and the decisions that are made moving forward. One of the things I'm proud about as a veteran is that 13% of all Frontier employees are veterans. It's something we reach out and we try and market to that and hire veterans and their families as much as possible. Recently, we've gone through a change. We are now set up as areas. We are part of Area 1, which is New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. My boss, Paul Quick, resides in Connecticut and part of seven operating areas that exist in our footprint. So we're a S&P 500 company, a Fortune 500 company. We serve 29 states. We employ about 29,000 people nationwide. We have revenue of $11 billion. Our corporate headquarters are in Norwalk, Connecticut. Our state headquarters are right here in Rochester, New York. So as we have improved last year, you kind of blend with what year it is, we acquired properties in California, Texas, and Florida. Verizon properties brought in a lot of Fios. So currently we have over 1 million people we serve in the video product today. So the product we're going to be offering here in the Rochester market is fiber to the node, fiber and copper to the home. So what that means is to our central office, to our remotes, it'll be fiber fed, and then we'll use our existing copper network back into the homes. One of the interesting things is, and it's actually Netflix, there's been a lot of research and development of copper, putting it in play. And Netflix is one of the leaders in it because they really wanted to expand our market. So today, with this product of Vantage TV, we can also offer up to 100 meg over this fiber-fed and copper feed. So it's really very important to us. So it's a number one platform. I think one of the things that's very important about this is current state-of-the-art delivery. It'll do the standard definition, high definition, and the 4K ultra high definition product. It is in the home. You can have up to 4 set-top boxes. One has to be tied into the system. The other 3 will be Wi-Fi led, so you can put them anywhere you want, move them about as you want. So they're not tied in. So there's a number of things. Because this is a ISP product, one of the things we think that makes a difference is an outstanding picture quality. I mean, really, really incredible picture quality. But the controls, I think, really is one of the things that's going to make the difference. So one of the things, instant channel change. You know, we're used to changing channels and have that delay all the time. There's no delay whatsoever. It's an instant change as you go through. You can multi-view. You can watch up to 6 shows at one time. You can find videos very quickly. So there's just a lot of features we think are very exciting about this. One of the things is the visual guide. So we're used to this, seeing what's on. You want to see what's on TV. But the difference with this is you can click on any one of those pictures and it'll go live to that channel at that time. So you can find out whether it's gone to commercial, where it is, whether you want to flip back there. So I think really a nice feature in here. You have channel peaks. You can look at it in multiple different ways. You can actually have 4 members of your family actually set up their favorite programs. So you can go in, you get 200 channels. We watch, 20 or 25 of them. We can set it up. You can also set up for your kids and control the programming they have access to on there. The unified search is also interesting. Sometimes they get very frustrated because you've got to be very specific of what you type in to get what you want. As long as you type in a generality. So in this case, it's iron. So it would come up with anything with Iron Man, Jeremy Irons. So you can do something that'll give you all renditions of that are available to you that you can pick from. And it's really a nice feature. Again, media lists, all the things on. One of the things that we think is also because of this is and this will be expanded, Netflix will be built right into the channels. You won't have to go back outside to watch it. You can watch it. As we do, we have a partnership with Amazon. We hope to expand that as well and build that right into the channel lineup. So again, for residents, businesses, you have access to next generation video experience. It'll be competitively priced to make us a competitor out there. There's going to be no inconvenience. The improvements that are made in the first blush are really electronic improvements in our central offices and the remotes we have in your community. So there's really no digging that's going to be done, no laying of aerial. As we expand the system, there will have to be new fiber put out, so new remotes put out as we expand that market. And then again, increased franchise and PEG revenues. Some of it will be a transfer from one party to the other, but we believe we'll be able to draw in some of those satellite customers. As you know, satellite TV is not subject to the same rules that we are and do not pay the franchise fees. So we look forward to bringing competition and choice, innovation, and to the residents of Irondequoit. So a couple of things I just want to also close in and do this. So we presented a number of documents. We hope that they're entered into the record. We know, which is typical, that our competitor has tended to send letters to communities. And there's two main issues they raise in that. One is the issue of build-out. And I'll tell you, the issue of build-out is the number one reason why there is no competition. Because essentially the old rule said that to provide cable franchise, you have to provide 100% coverage. As a startup, that's virtually impossible, if not fiscally not well. So we think we're one of the only ones who can provide the competition because of the copper we have, the investment we have in the ground too. We'd also like to say that the competitors had 30 years to refine the system and provide the greatest service possible to not have it. So we think we can come in and provide competition. In the communities where we've come in, we've already seen prices starting to lower, attitudes starting to change, actually starting to negotiate with communities they had negotiated within 20 years. The other thing is a contestment about how we would progress. And I think that the term is redlining, whether we would pick neighborhoods unfairly. We are utility, so there has to be a logical way we progress out. We can't just pick and choose where we go. So as we go out, it's a linear progression. It will not be based on any income or any neighborhood. We'll pull this out and progress as normally a utility would. And then finally is a level playing field. Things like free service locations, which are offered, franchise fees, PEG insurance. We're obligated by PSC to match anything the incumbent has in your community. So if they pay PEG fees at whatever percent, we're obligated to pay at that point. If they give you free video locations, we will match those and let you choose where those are. So those are very standard. One of the other things I'd like to point out, in Rochester, we know all well that we had some major companies in Rochester that were not able to make the transition from being an old company to the company you have to be in the 21st century. Frontier Communication goes back to the 19th century, where we provide what we call POTS, plain old telephone service. That was really where we generated. In the 20th century, we got into the internet service business, and in the 21st century, we're running into the video market. We need your help in making that change. We need your help and support, because without you, we can't provide that video product, and we think that's a good thing. So we just want to reaffirm it's a great product. We think it stimulates competition. We think choice is good for your residents. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter, and I know myself and my fellow board members have a few questions for the record, and we'll, before I call you back up to the podium, I'm just going to ask if anyone else, other residents in the audience, wish to speak to the board on this matter, the proposed franchise agreement. Hearing none, Mr. Carpenter, please come back up, and I'll just start with a few things. You referenced the incumbent franchise holder in town, now called Charter Communications, has submitted written testimony. They were allowed to come here tonight, but elected to submit written testimony, and we've given that to the clerk to submit to the record, as we did the memorandum that you provided that I believe the Glennon Law Firm, acting on behalf of Frontier, provided to the town board, and we thank you for that. So I'll start by saying thank you for being here. I know you've had you've been making the rounds in communities throughout, and as a former town supervisor, you probably are less parochial these days, and you think more as a region, which is terrific, and it's good to see you here. I'll just start by saying I don't think anyone on the board doesn't welcome the notion of competition. I think residents welcome competition, and to the fact there hasn't been any competition for the past, my whole lifetime really. I think it's welcome and encouraging that another entrant is another potential franchisee is entering into the market, and I feel that has the ability to provide consumers with choice, and certainly in this day and age with multimedia, choice is the key word, because you have a number of mediums which you can select. A few questions as it relates, and you referenced build out, and I'm just curious. You said you would use the existing infrastructure, and in your application, I believe you commit to a 35% build out in the first 2 years, and then there's certain factors which may trigger a larger investment in the out years. And largely, your rationale is it's market driven, and as you described in your testimony, you submitted that you're starting from zero, so the board accepts that comment. I'm just curious: is the 35% baseline standard in every community to which you're presenting a proposed franchise agreement?
That is the baseline we offer, yes.
Does it matter that Irondequoit is a denser town? The 35%, I understand it's a baseline, but for a town like Irondequoit that's more densely populated versus perhaps a more rural town where you might have to lay more fiber per capita, does it thus warrant perhaps looking, when you're looking at the city and the inner ring suburbs, a higher number because you might have the actual capacity or bandwidth, no pun intended, to do that build out? Is that something that Frontier would consider?
Well, I think of the 45 communities we're facing, we're not going to be approaching all 45 at once. This is going to be done over time. So we've identified about 15 communities, primarily in the Monroe County area, where we're really targeting as our first approach. So, and it's because of that density, and we have the equipment. And it's not just the lines, but again, we've got to have the remotes, we've got to have the houses to put the electronics in. So the combination of two things are important to us.
And you mentioned you had I think a signed franchise agreement with Gates. Just for our benefit, walk us through you referenced your application to the PSC, and just for the board members and myself's edification, is it a chicken and egg scenario? Does the PSC not consider the application until you have that critical mass of communities throughout the state, or is it done simultaneously?
I think we're going to be submitting them as we get signed approvals. We'll be submitting them on to the PSC. As you are aware, their process can be lengthy. I think we are in our third or fourth month, just getting those first applications into them. So as they roll along, I have had probably 13 other public hearings in Monroe County. So we think over the next 30 to 60 days, we'll get approvals on those, and we'll submit them as they get approved.
Any other board members?
Yeah, so just so that I'm clear, the existing infrastructure, you mean the telephone lines to the house, is that correct?
That is part of it.
Okay.
There's two parts. One, we've got to have the electronics. So the way this works, that we can push this out and get the speeds we are, is everything's being compressed. So in our industry, it's interesting, Mr. Supervisor, I started off in public works, and I had pipes. And I went to the water authority and had pipes, and now I'm with the phone company and pipes. And they're all different. And each step I've made, the distribution system has become much more complex, which is interesting. But in my business, the demand doubles about every 13 months. In terms of how much people want us to roll down those pipes. So the thing that's really made the difference is compression. We're able to take the same amount of people and provide it down. So that's why those electronics are important. So really, so the CO, what we call our central offices, which is the main point where the signal comes into any community area, then out to remotes and further out. So we got to have those devices to put the electronics in. So the copper is pretty much in place. The fiber is in a lot of our areas, and so we'll expand it out. So we're going to take advantage, and all communities will go in and use all the CO and all the remotes that exist in communities to fire up the first level of Vantage TV.
Okay. Is the, right now, it appears that Dish is sort of the companion to Frontier when people get FrontierNet for their internet service. Would this replace that?
We will probably continue a relationship with Dish, but what we find in our business, the triple play, for people, the phone, the high speed, and people would prefer not to have a Dish. Especially as we get into apartment buildings and higher density complexes, they really would prefer this. So this gives us a better competitive edge. So we'll offer the Dish, but with a lot of cases, we'll be able to provide a great product through Vantage.
Thanks.
Anyone else? No, go ahead, John.
No, I mean, Bill, you talk about the landline now. Obviously, those are becoming so. Most people would probably concentrate on having the internet service as well as the cable service. So, are you going to get all the communities together and then start like a pricing, for folks? What point does it get at where you start marketing this as far as costs?
Well, our corporate has already established pricing levels
Okay.
on this, so they know how they're going to price this out. You can buy the Vantage separate. You can buy the DSL separate. You can buy a phone. It's going to be an ISP phone with this. Or there's a lot of people still that like the triple play.
Okay.
They want all three. So so we have that. We can package that in the pricing, and again, a very competitive price. And the other thing is what I said is our Vantage. DSL, our internet is going to be high quality, up to 100 meg there. So, even for the people who are cutting the cord, we're going to be able to offer, where we're able to offer the Vantage TV, very high internet speeds.
Okay, thank you. I'm not certain if it's significant for our consideration, but anything to speak of the potential for growth that this would effectuate for Frontier, specifically as it relates to the region, I was talking employment growth?
Well, we think Vantage TV is, as Councilman pointed out, we're losing our POTS lines. People are giving up the phones, except for security systems, and a lot of senior citizens still like the phone. They like that old phone and do that. So, but we think Vantage TV is that thing that really gives us that growth potential. And if it grows as we think it will, we'll probably put on headcount to support it moving forward. Because, one of the things we know in our business, people will put up with their phone out a little bit. They'll put up with a little bit of their internet being out. They will not put up with anything on that TV. Don't mess with the TV. So we're going to have to be able to provide very quick response for installation and more importantly, repair and support.
I'll just ask, too, because I've been interested in this, and you've submitted. The more you submit, the more interested I get. The Verizon case down in the city of Glen Cove, which was referenced often in your memo, in that instance, I believe, as I understand it, the PSC did allow a partial geographic build-out, which was, I guess, to be frank, was a little bit, well, not a little bit, was higher than the proposed 35%. But in order to make up that difference, it was negotiated that Verizon would have to pay a differential, and in effect the same benefits that the incumbent franchisee down there was paying as it relates to cable franchise fees. Is that something that Frontier would consider in order to get on par with the benefit to the town as it relates to cable franchise fees?
I'm sorry, state your question.
So in effect, if you're not required to have the same build out as the incumbent, would Frontier, as I understand it down in Long Island, Verizon was required to still pay on par with the incumbents as it related to franchise fees. So even though they had a smaller geographic build-out, they were still paying the same level, the benefit to the municipality. And it's something as we continue our dialogue with Frontier, I just would like Frontier to consider. I hope if the geographic build-out is going to be lower, perhaps getting the benefit to the town closer to on par with the incumbent. And it's more of a statement than a question, but just something I wanted to.
I mean, in terms of just dollar to dollar
Yeah,
match?
more or less, yes. And there are other benefits as well, and I think you've answered to some of the other benefits that the incumbent agreement has that you're willing to provide.
So we would be very happy to be in a position to pay what the incumbent is. That means we're very successful here. You know, and that's what we want.
Okay. Any other board members? Okay, thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to make a motion, accept a motion to close the public hearing with a caveat that we'll accept written testimony from residents via email or written submission to the town up until our next board meeting, which I'm trying to think when our next board meeting is.
17th?
What is it?
February
17th?
February?
Oh, no.
February
21st, regular.
February 21st. And we'll close the hearing, and we look forward to communicating with you in the short term.
Happy to follow up on any questions you
Absolutely,
have.
Bill.
Thank you.
Motion to
Bill,
close.
thank
the-
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The hearing is closed while allowing written submission until the next regular town board meeting, February 21st. And with that, we will move on to, jumping all over the place, we will move on to public input. At this time, would anyone in the audience wish to address the board? Okay, hearing none. I will now move on to the financial report. Ms. Seeley?
In this report, I am presenting a preliminary look at the 2016 financial results for the town as of December 31st. The books will not close until the end of February, so as to allow for receipt and processing of outstanding commitments, and to account for and properly book the remaining revenue that is owed to the town. Again, during the February and March town board meetings, I will present the most current 2016 preliminary results along with the respective 2017 monthly financial report. At a mid-year town board meeting, most likely June, the town's auditors from the Bonadillo Group will present highlights of the audited 2016 financial statements and audit report. As of December 31st, total town current expenditures and encumbrances are favorable at 90.6% of budget, $31,050,000. Actual expenditures are $30,167,000, leaving encumbrances at $883,000. The encumbrances are 2.6% of budget, indicating that there are services and/or supplies yet to be billed. Expenses in the general fund are below budget as well. They equate to 89.7% of budget at $18,117,000. Encumbrances are $413,000, with actual expenditures at $17,704,000. The collective highway fund expenses of $4,998,000 are below budget at 94.1%. In spite of the overall favorability, notable encumbrances remain for gas, fuel, asphalt, and for the purchase of a service van in Highway 1. And in Highway 3, encumbrances remain for equipment parts and commercial vehicle maintenance. The library expenses are $2,172,000, below budget at 94.9%, and that includes $429,000 of bond anticipation note costs. The sewer fund has expended $3,673,000, 85% of budget. Stormwater drainage expenses total $989,000, 93.5% of budget. As a result of significant bond payments across funds in December, the sewer fund saw a considerable increase in the expenditures as a percent of budget. The December sewer debt payments were $295,000. The drainage fund also saw a sizable increase in expenditures as a percent of budget. The December debt payments for drainage were approximately $220,000. As of December 31st, the general fund has received 90.2% of budgeted revenue, equating to $17,818,000. The major general fund revenues received to date are 100% of real estate tax of $10.6 million, 102% of pilot revenue of $193,000, pilot, payment in lieu of tax, sales tax of $2,536,000, 68.9% of budget, accounting for 8 months of activity. 9 months of mortgage tax equal to 89% of budget, or $643,000. The total annual per capita state aid of $613,000, and 53.3% of the franchise cable TV revenue of $373,000. Additionally, recreation program fees are at 95.5% of budget in the amount of $287,000. The town revenue summary after 12 months. Total revenue is $30.8 million, or 94.1% of budget. The town revenue, along with the appropriated fund balances, total $31.8 million, 94.3% of budget. Real estate taxes are $16.5 million across funds. The library has received 99.8% of revenue, an amount of $2,284,000. The consolidated highway revenue is $5,160,000, 97.4% of budget. Sewer has collected 101% of budget, a total of $4.3 million. This concludes my financial report for 2016 as of the end of December.
Annie, are there, the franchise cable TV, that $327,000, when do we expect that?
March.
March, okay, thank you.
And Annie, forgive me if I missed when you said this, but the mortgage tax, we still have 3 months
Yes.
outstanding? Good, so that's encouraging.
Right, yes.
It's not the most robust few months for home sales, but I think we're tracking very favorably in that revenue stream.
Yes.
So many thanks to our realtors in Arundecoit. Okay, a motion to accept the financial report.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Report is accepted. Madam Clerk.
Approval of minutes, December 8, 2016, the workshop meeting.
Take a motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes are accepted.
December 15, 2016, the regular town board meeting.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
This was the Blizzard. Thank you for 100% attendance from the board members. All those in favor to accept the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are accepted.
December 27, 2016, a special town board meeting.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you, John. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
One abstention.
And Ms. Hushler-Ray abstains. Very good. Okay, so we will now move on to our regular body of work, which is relatively short tonight. I will note that a public hearing held over from December 15th, 2016, as it related to requesting a special use permit on East Ridge Road, that application has withdrawn his request. So we will move on to our items for board action. Madam Clerk.
Item number 3, authorizing a satisfaction and release of a lien on 837 Titus Avenue, Rochester, New York, 14617.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Mr. Perticone, thank you. Ms. Ivers, explanation, please.
This is releasing a lien that had been placed on the property related to the action that was taken for unsafe structure. It was in order to repair. The requirements of that lien have been satisfied. It's our good news to report that the property has recently been sold.
Thank you, Ms. Ivers. And did we move this? Forgive me. Madam Clerk, did we move this resolution? We did, right?
Yes, we did.
Just being careful. So as Ms. Ivers pointed out, this was one of the properties that we proceeded last year with an action to either request a repair or a demolition. Actually, this was the first batch that we believe commenced in 2015, correct, Carrie?
Correct.
Thank you. And in some instances, we were forced to demolish because the properties were unsafe and a public danger. In this instance, it was a roof, I believe, that was rendered the property unsafe, and but was able to repair. So the town ordered the repairs at the request of our fire marshal. And in this instance, it's a very good outcome, I will note, and shows, when we are aggressive with these matters, what can happen. I think selling the property would have been a lot harder if it didn't have a roof on it for a number of years. It had that blue tarp. And for anyone who's visited our town or walked down Titus Avenue or marched in our parade, they've for years looked to their left and they've seen the tuna fish can that served as a retaining wall and now is a beautiful retaining wall thanks to the work we did in the fall. And now hopefully when they look to the right at the corner of Brookview and Titus, they will see a rehabilitated house. And I thank our town staff and the board members for the diligence with this one. This is a very good outcome. We never want to see houses come down, but in this instance, I think we should be satisfied with, we should be very, very cautiously optimistic with the outcome. I'll say that. Any other comments? No. Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 4, authorizing supervisor to execute agreement for Monroe County all-seasons work in Monroe County rights-of-way.
Motion, please.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Commissioner Kiley.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The resolution before the town board this evening is to authorize yourself
Robert,
to enter into a...
Would you mind speaking into the mic? We cannot hear you. Thank you.
How's this?
Very much.
Very
better.
good. Okay. Sorry, the mics must be low tonight. So this resolution before the town board this evening is to allow the town to enter into a contract with the County of Monroe to conduct work within the county rights-of-way. This contract is renewing. That's why it's before the town board this evening, and it will be for a 10-year term. Just for the town board and the folks at home, this is reimbursed work. So the town does work for the county, and we charge the county back. So these are funds that come in as revenue to the town of Arundecoit.
Thanks, Bob. And some examples of roadways or right-of-ways that we've done work on in the past few years?
Any of our county roadways where there is an emergency dig job, any type of resurfacing, notably Kings Highway over the last several years. So that's town resources paving those county roads, specifically Kings or Oil and Stone and Kings Highway, that we charge the county back. So the county in their capital improvement program allocate resources, allocate dollars, and rather than hiring a contractor to perform the work, a private contractor, I should say, they hire the towns.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions or comments for the commissioner?
Do all the towns commit to 10 years? at a
Yes,
time?
it's the standard for the county, this county all seasons agreement.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 5, authorizing the supervisor to enter into essential procurements pursuant to the emergency exception of General Municipal Law, Section 103, paren 4.
Well read, Madam Clerk. A motion
Moved.
and a second?
Second?
Thank you. Mr. Kiley, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. In light of the recent fire at the Department of Public Works, this resolution's before the town board this evening to authorize, to reaffirm the contracts. At the organizational meeting, we allowed the supervisor to enter into contracts in light of the fire. Those contracts would come back before the town board, and at this time we're bringing this town board resolution which clearly indicates all of the municipalities that we are going to enter into contracts with, and this is contracts specific to the loaning of vehicles, specifically snow and ice trucks, through the remainder of the 2016-2017 snow and ice season. Please note that each one of these contracts may be a little bit different. The City of Rochester has allowed us to use their fleet center for our mechanics in the interim until we rebuild or renovate, retrofit a suitable mechanics garage. The County of Monroe, the town of Greece and the town of Webster have all offered sanitation equipment in light of our sanitary sewer department's vehicles being almost near 100% destroyed, and the remainder of the towns, Penfield, Parma, Parrington, and the others listed in the addenda to this contract are all loaning us vehicles, snow and ice dump trucks for the remainder of the season. So yet again, it's just reaffirming contracts that we have entered into due to the fire of Christmas Eve.
Thank you, Bob. And I'm going to offer just one amendment to the resolution. The second whereas clause, third line, I'd like to strike the word vehicles. I believe that word was in the earlier draft, and at the request of Ms. Barnum, we did amend that resolution at the December special board meeting. Bob, does that look good to you?
Yes, that is correct. Yes, we did strike the vehicles from the emergency authorizations disbanding the procurement.
So I'll just offer that amendment, Madam Clerk. Any objection? Thank you. Any questions for the Commissioner? I thank the board members again for providing, I don't want to say flexibility, but just the ability for us to manage this more on the go, and poor choice of words actually, but I will say and will continue to make sure that these contracts, as they are executed by me, come to the board for ratification, and I will provide them, make our best attempt to provide them to you in real time upon enactment, and then for consideration for ratification at the subsequent board meeting. Any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 6, authorizing the award of bid for layout, design, printing, and mailing of the town's activity guide publication.
Motion?
Move.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Sinton.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The current contract for the printing of the activity guide expired on December 31st. We put it out to bid. The lowest bid was a printer named Penny Lane, who does other municipalities' activity guides as well.
And Don, I'll just ask, we had some revised specifications for the printing, correct? And I'm confident that this vendor was able to meet those.
Yes, they were.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 7, authorizing the supervisor to enter into a new contract with a vendor for the town's 2017 Winterfest celebration.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Deputy Supervisor Sinton, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is an added vendor to the upcoming Winterfest, which is a week from Saturday on January 28th. Specifically, it's called Game and Ride. It's a large trailer that's full of video games.
Thank you, Don, and I'll note the board members had the opportunity to review the contract at last week's workshop. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 8, authorizing the comptroller to attend the annual conference of the New York State Government Finance Officers Association in Albany, New York, from March 29th to the 31st, 2017.
Motion? And a second?
Second.
Comptroller Seeley, explanation, please. My right flank over there.
Yes, I'm seeking your approval to attend the annual Government Finance Officers Association in Albany, March 29th through 31st. You have the list of sessions that will be available. You have all of the paperwork. So again, I'm seeking approval for this annual conference. It's very informative. We gain a lot of contacts and many contacts so that we can bounce ideas of each other. We understand the new laws that are coming down, so it's very informative.
Thanks, Annie. Any questions or comments?
Sounds good.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 9, authorizing adjustment of the mileage reimbursement rate for 2017 to 53.5 cents, consistent with the rate allowed by the U.S. Internal Revenue Service.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hushler-Ray. This would, in effect, just update the reimbursement for mileage that is set by the IRS or allowed by the IRS. They set the guidelines, and we annually adjust our reimbursement as a result. And This will take effect, will apply to any use of motor vehicle from January 1st, 2017 forward. Questions or comments? Anything I missed, Annie?
No, you did not miss
Good
anything.
answer. Okay, this is a short resolution. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 10, authorizing the amendment of the town personnel manual.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second?
This would just put into our town personnel manual clear guidelines as it relates to the use of town equipment, materials, and supplies, and specify clearly that they shall not be available for any non-governmental or personal use whatsoever, and not to be removed from town property. So in effect, town equipment for town business. Mr. Vinette, anything to add?
No, sir.
And I'll note that our employees will affirm receipt of this, so they will be notified of this, and we will confirm receipt via signature, I assume. Right, Jason?
Yes, that's
Thank
correct.
you very much. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 11, authorizing the appointment of a personnel clerk.
Motion? Moved. Second?
Second.
Mr. Vinette?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I am very pleased to speak on behalf of this resolution tonight. Linda Mosley has worked for the town for the past 16 years in a part-time capacity. She maintains our human resource information system, acts as liaison to the New York State Retirement System and Monroe County Civil Service. She provides orientation to new hires, enrolls our employees in health plans, assists in reviewing applications and canvas letters from potential candidates, assists other departments in their hiring needs, and provides general support to the HR department. Her knowledge and experience, along with her commitment to the town, makes her extremely valuable to all of us, and me particularly. Linda has passed the civil service test for the title of personnel clerk and is reachable on the list of eligibles. I'm very proud of the work Linda does, and I thank you for considering this appointment to full-time status.
Thank you, Jason. Any questions or comments?
Thank you for your loyal service. Very well deserved.
Yeah, I'll just add, and Jason does very good work in his department, and Linda, for anyone who's ever had the joy of working at Town Hall, Linda is in fact one of the first faces you see, and it's a very welcoming face. And I had the pleasure of roughly a decade apart being hired or employed by the town, and first as a staff member and then as a council member. And Linda was my first meeting upon employment, the secure of employment. And I'm very happy to advance and support this resolution. And Linda works very hard. She's part of the team here at Town Hall. And as the business we do here grows more complex, experience is really valued. So Linda's always been part of the family, but we're very happy to bring her on to this position. Any further question or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution's adopted. Linda, congratulations. Why don't you stand up? You tried to jump the gun, but we had the camera on you already, so. Madam Clerk.
Item number 12, authorizing the appointment of an office clerk 3 in the Planning and Zoning Department.
Motion?
Moved.
And second?
Second?
Thank you. Ms. Kelly.
I'll speak on behalf of this. I just want to note that there is a vacancy in the Planning and Zoning Department, and Director Kelly wishes to appoint an office clerk 3 from the list of certified eligibles. Sarah Feely is a town resident. She is reachable on the certified list. And I will pass the microphone to Director Kelly to speak about Sarah.
Thank you, Director. Yes, we're very excited that Sarah will be coming on full-time. She's been a valued part-time employee of the town since 2015 and has certainly grown in her role and has gone above and beyond and really shown that she really loves Rondequoit. So we're really excited to bring her on full-time, and I think this will be a great fit. So thank you, Sarah. You want to stand up?
And I'll note this vacancy was created by the retirement from the town of a clerk that we had, and Sarah had been part-time and done a very good job in our planning department, And that's another department that continues to grow more complex and requires a greater acuity to provide the level of service, and in this instance, enforce the code. And, it's a very vital department. So Sarah, I know, is a loyal member of the team, and we're happy to bring her on to this augmented status. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's adopted. Congratulations, Sarah. Why don't you stand up?
Again?
We're mean here. Not only did we put these hires, like, by tradition at the end of the meeting, you're required to stand up now, so cable access television can recognize you. Madam Clerk, final resolution, please.
Final resolution, number 13, authorizing the appointment of an alternate member to the Town Zoning Board of Appeals.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
This would appoint Mr. Ryan Trevis as an alternate member to the Town Zoning Board of Appeals. I'm happy to, and this would be for a term that would expire December 31st, 2019. We created the alternate position 2 years ago. We passed a local law creating it, and it was a good idea, I think. I don't know who had it, but it was a good idea because it really created a pathway to I should say, as we put members on the board, it allows almost a transition period where once someone becomes a full-time member, and this doesn't guarantee elevation to full-time member, but that's been the trend. It provides that experience. And Mr. Travis is someone I know who has taken a very keen interest in town government. He was born and raised here. He's, I believe, studying for his master's in public administration, and thus has an interest in such affairs. And, we look to balance, I think, these boards. We have some engineers, we have some lay people, and we have some people who are interested in government and the community. And I know one thing about Ryan, yes. I was going to say Kyle, but I got the right Travis. One thing about Ryan is he'll put his heart and soul to this. I know his dedication, and he really is excited about serving the town. And, it's always encouraging when I get residents come to me and say, how can I be of service to the town? So very happy to offer this resolution. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Congratulations, Mr. Travis. Please stand up. That concludes our body of work, but as promised, you got to end the meeting with a bang, so I'm going to go to my supervisor's remarks, so if the residents will permit me a few more minutes, and I don't want to see any of the department heads leave. Stay put. Just to note, our organizational meeting, at last week's workshop, we appointed 3 new members to our town library board. I was very happy to see an increased level of interest in serving on the library board, which is an important board that has a fiduciary role over the library. Very happy that we reappointed Albert Bud Burchard and appointed Colleen Burns and Susan Kramarski. So we welcome them aboard and thank them for their service, and thank all the residents who applied for the consideration. We also appointed Bradley Upson to the Zoning Board of Appeals, which we were happy to do. That created the vacancy that we just filled with Mr. Travis. Mr. Upson's a former highway commissioner in the town and someone who has not a renewed interest, but a long line of service to the town, and we thank him for his interest. A reminder that applications for property tax exemptions are due March 1st. This includes new homeowners under New York State's Basic Star, as well as seniors receiving the Enhanced Star benefits who must file an income verification. This also includes exemptions offered by the town for lower-income seniors and veterans. For more information, please call our assessor's office. They will be gladly to answer any of your questions, 336-6055, or visit the town website for a full summary of exemptions. Again, that important date is March 1st, and unfortunately, if that deadline is missed, state law affords us very little, if in fact none, ability to make exceptions. The ice rink is open for business, weather depending. As I speak, we've just endured a day long of rain and not weather conducive to an ice rink, but when the ice rink is open and we do have ice out there from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, skate rental will be available on Friday through Sunday at $2 an hour, and dedicated hockey hours are Tuesday and Thursdays from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's been nice to see the teens and kids out there playing hockey, but we have those dedicated hours because we have a lot of little tykes out there learning to skate for the first time, so we want to make sure that they're able to navigate. So we have the dedicated hockey hours, and we'll try to enforce that to the best of our ability, and we thank our hockey players for their understanding and cooperation. We encourage residents to continue to check the town website and Facebook page, which will provide as close to real-time updates as to the rinks being open or not as possible. If it's cold and frozen, it'll be open. On Friday, January 27th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., there will be counseling available for assistance in navigating open enrollment for the New York State healthcare marketplace. 1-hour appointments are available at the library and can be scheduled by calling 336-6060. This is a very good opportunity. I encourage residents to take advantage of it if you have questions about open enrollment. And finally, Winterfest is Saturday, January 28th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'm doing everything in my power to make sure it's cold and snowy on the ground, and we hope to have a nice festive atmosphere, a lot of free fun and entertainment for your kids. And I know Councilman Perticone is eagerly waiting that day.
You got me doing.
He loves the snow. But we encourage everyone to come out. And again, just to thank our police department and all our citizens who we honored earlier for their contributions to the town. It's always a great way to start the meeting off. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn with note that our next workshop meeting is Tuesday, February 14th, 2017 at 4 p.m. in the Broderick Meeting Room at Arundecoit Town Hall. And the next regular town board meeting will be Tuesday, February 21st, 2017 at 7 p.m. in the Broderick Meeting Room here at Town Hall. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Arundecoit Town Board on ICAT 12, Arundecoit's government access channel.